Well, yeah, that would definitely be a super interesting map to sort of end on as well, considering that the Haven victory that they had was a 13-11 win for Royals, and that was after a relatively decent comeback as well, after what was a very, very good match from Fabrican. So I think this is going to be, well, it should be the closest match of the day, of course. Both playoffs matches being a 2-0 for either side definitely sets this one up to be a good battle. And we're going to go straight back in onto Bind. Definitely the map where I think we have a more awkward position for the Royals. I don't think they're anywhere near as impactful on this one, but they have gone for what looks like a bit of a risky stack early on. 4 players are going to be waiting on B.
We're also going to see a shift up from what we saw in the previous Bind game, where Raze was picked by both teams. Although Royals still deploying that, their opponents of Fabrican prefer to take a Sova alongside the Core 4 that both teams have got out. If you're wondering what the Core 4 are, they're every agent except for Sova that you see on the right side, or for Raze on the left. Capiz is the one to open this up, but the spike has now been planted. It's all about post plants and starts out with Meadow taking down DPS, a further frag going their way, and struggling to get access back in there. Hype has got an off angle coming up behind and knows about the player on the left. A free kill to Leo.
Such a great way to start off what is the retake, and now it's left all onto Nicola, and he can do absolutely nothing. The retake will come in for the defensive side, and I'm liking the fact that that now seems to be the norm of the way to actually play this middle take, or I guess a short take, is to get that wall down, try and like basically line up your smokes. The interesting thing will be is that on the defensive side, one of the things that I was really impressed with early in the day from Fabrican was their utility usage to actually retake the site. Because something we saw in the last match was that the side of Royals actually loved taking over Lamp, and it was really effective from Fabrican actually retaking Ramp. So we'll have a little bit of a battle of the two teams to see who will get that control later in the game.
And a really smart play by Hype as well, though. When he threw the nade into the left corner, he also put the blast pack, and that's not just for the damage, but it was to push the player back in to the nade. It was a really, really intelligent play. Too high IQ for me. A 1-0. Royals rocking in with confidence, but can they keep it up? As Fabrican look to blitz out towards B. They've got 4 players on long, and a Cypher just going back to check their booty, their behind, and make sure it's all clear as can be. Oh, in fact, setting up for the A take as they TP afterwards, but the rotates are going to be there very, very quickly, slowed down by the Raze nade, even if they did want to blitz through showers. And it looks like they were trying to bait Capiz into pushing, as now Cypher moves backwards, looking for this very flank that's coming through. It's a double fake, Tom.
An elaborate ruse, but the problem is Capiz is in prime position. Basically just hold them here. They shouldn't really stand a chance. Your favorite gun, the Ares, just we can try and do the damage. That's going to make things a little bit awkward for Leakin, but now that he's avoided it, they should have a decent idea of where his final resting place will be. Unfortunately, Capiz has come in from behind and made things very, very difficult for them. It's going to be left onto just 2 players, but they have at least been able to get a kill, and with the second player relatively low, make that even 1 more. Maybe Leo can make this round at least a little bit costly.
Yeah, but 6 seconds left. Winning it isn't really possible, but making sure that there's at least some impact to the bankroll is all he was there for. Very lucky to walk away with Leakin still alive. He literally has 1 HP at this point. But alive he is. And 2-0 we rock and roll. A very good start for Royals, building it up. And they've already got a lot of their ultimates on the verge of tipping over. Capiz and Hype specifically, 2 very high impact ults to have early on. I'm interested to see as time moves on how teams adapt to those ult orbs as well that are scattered around the maps. Already we see a couple of teams using the likes of an ice wall maybe to block off an angle and take it, more so on split when you think towards the A side.
Oh no.
His Boombot killed him. Oh, that's disgusting.
How's that even happened? that must have been an error. Especially because this is a buy round as well. I like the fact that there's actually still a shorty in play. So the defense is not fully invested. The basic idea here for anybody wondering is they can buy in the next round. So this round, really all they're trying to do is damage. If they win it, well, that's why we call it a bonus round, because that's the chance. They have an opportunity to still take the victory, but really they should be losing this one because this is a really weak purchase. Only a few players with rifles. All the sort of guns they had in the next round, they're not going to just replace them and buy up. They can't sell them anymore. So why not just give them a go? And it's already been a fantastic start. In fact, they managed to dominate on the A side of the map. The whole attacking force is going to look to try and head into B.
Not the first time this initial objective has come through, but that wall is going to slow them down. The TP might even be tempting, but they know there's a player that had been spotting that out earlier when the Raze was there, breaking down the wall and looking to move forward. 14 seconds on the clock. They just need to delay time. Capiz is here. He's up close. Leo trying to get it planted, but he can't, and no one's covering him. The wall blocking them off, in fact, as Capiz recovers a Phantom and takes down Nicola. That's the round over and done with. A devastating result. They got on the site, but just didn't account for the play up close.
So I just want to point out that the players in that round that got kills, one of them was with a boom bot, one of them was with a ghost, and then it was the same player who retrieved the Phantom after getting the kill with a ghost. And those are all the kills we had in that round. How has that happened, Mitch? Can you explain? I don't understand.
Such a minimal investment. Literally under 1k for a round win. That's about as perfect as it gets, really, isn't it?
That wall timing as well just made things so awkward. And the great thing about Capiz's position, it's a no-lose scenario. Like, if he dies, he had a ghost. It doesn't even matter. The rest of his team can attempt the retake with the rifles they've managed to retrieve. And, well, if he does do what he did, the round's won. There was only a matter of seconds left on the clock, and their wall actually ended up being a bit more awkward when the spike isn't planted. Now we get to see the remaining weaponry plus a few weaker investments. But now there are some purchases coming in from the defending side. I think that smoke actually slightly missed as well. Last time we saw this same smoke setup, it was actually a little bit higher up. Maybe delaying a bit more vision. We'll see if it works quite as well.
Hype had his nade out. Just to be clear, he wasn't just pointing at the sky for no reason, and the ult through. That's an easy kill to Leo again. He's having a very rough time getting that bomb planted. Shadow looking for an angle on the Frenzy. He can't find a thing just yet. Chuck out the Aftershock. It only costs 100. Why not? But Hype, in the meantime, is being rezzed, and there goes Shadow. And all hope of the round is starting to fade away as two quick kills do come through. With the spike now dropped in the open. Hype. Oh, he can't afford to die. It's a 3v2. This is still winnable. They know there's a rifle in play as well. He's trapped inside the cage. Caught in a trap, and he can't walk out. But then he does and drops the spike. They don't even know.
He's definitely my favorite player to watch. So aggressive. I like the fact that he delays it to the point where he hears the spike being planted and makes an educated guess that, considering there's only 10 seconds left, it's probably not a fake plant as well. So, yeah, 4-0. Of course, that round was a bit of a weaker investment, or weaker purchase, I should say, from the attackers, because it was the save weaponry plus a few SMGs. So, all in all, taking down 3 players is not the worst thing in the world. However, we're getting to the point now, Mitch, where they need to start putting some rounds on the board.
Yes, indeed. You get a little bit of a grace period towards the start of the map, but eventually it's time to turn up. And Capiz is doing exactly that, unfortunately, for Fabrican, as they get turned down, losing a player off the bat. Capiz hasn't got his ultimate in play, obviously having popped the res in the previous round. That's something to work with, but I believe Fabrican should be fairly built up at this point. Their compensation for losing rounds is getting ults in play. But Leo, who's only just gotten his ult, died. It can be fairly impactful. Certainly on this map for clearing out the likes of Hookah. You can see it is a very narrow angle to shoot through. If he's in the position we just saw Nicola bunny hop past, that could work out. And in fact, contemplating the res at the moment, if they do that, that's an ult in play. They're going to double wall it off just to make sure. And now a player with an ult to work with. He'll also have the recon to hopefully clear out the back and make it even easier for Result to be meaningful.
I do wonder if they didn't get that kill off the back of the operator, if they would have taken the same risk. We'll have them pushing into the site. There's still plenty of players that they need to deal with. Cape is only going to be good for one, but do they even know that there's still a man just wrapping around the corner? In fact, Leakin is still standing. He's found a second one already. Looking to try and clear him out, which they do. Now Hype, just look at how much time is left. 6 seconds. He's going to try and back out of there. They will just about have the plant, so it doesn't win off of time. Still, though, in a 1 versus 1, this man really does have a good opportunity. You wouldn't really bet against him. Unfortunately, Shadow is going to win it out this time.
All right, nice little flick for him. Helped out that the opponent was low HP. And there it is, the first round for Fabric. And we said they needed to turn up. And that they did, but it cost them a little bit in terms of the ult economy. Latex is about to have his built up alongside Leo, who we saw recover his own, and Meadow. The opportunities are not scarce. But when you look on the other side, Royal's about to have both a Breach and obviously the currently already generated Raze ult in play. That can do quite a lot. The Operator as well. I think there's 2 of them in play for Royals. If I didn't misread that. And that's a really strong spot for defenders. We've seen them on this very map have a lot of success with it. But this time, Hype is anything but successful. DPS also falling. What is going on?
Even still, Neff has brought things back at least a little bit. It's looking like they're going to try and put the pressure straight onto him. I think he's realized he has to try and make a play at least in one direction, so he's going to try and keep control of the bathrooms, an important part of the map, but he's got to be careful. The Cypher of Fibraken is going to be coming around from behind. Cape is slowly edging his way into the site. Of course, at this point, the attackers have so much map control that this retake is looking less and less likely as the seconds pass by. The wall's still yet to be broken, and it may even become a point that the defenders have to just try and hold on to their weaponry because they are unable to really gain any ground just yet. And by the looks of it, they are just going to fade away.
Oh, indeed they are. Making the right call for sure. Bringing over these weapons. You can see, just looking in the bottom right of each player, that their economy is low. They can't afford reinvestment in the next round, especially when you're talking about a double op setup. And Leakin even going to be penny pinching by taking back his tripwires, carrying them through to the next round as well, making sure he's got that little bit of extra cash. I mean, it is 400 total, right? So it's money worth saving.
Yeah, they still have enough, so it's not really much of an issue. Luckily for the attackers, that's a chance to really just build up some bonus cash, so if this round does slip away from them, they will still be able to purchase. Starting to really put the pressure onto the more middle portions of the map. We haven't seen them fight bathrooms too often, and the same can be said for the control onto Long B. They're really fighting for hookah and A short, and thus far it's been relatively successful. I like this angle from Capers, though, just standing up on the top of the wall. If they do break through, he'll have quite a viable angle. In fact, there's going to be a counter actually expended, but by this point, the attackers have already fallen back, and that's ended up as a bit of a waste.
He gives a chance if he spots anyone to pop off his ult and get those kills for free. Double spot in the back of the site, but still not going to be popped off. And instead, oh, Hype! He only gets the one.
Ooh.
That looked like it could have been a double. They were so closely grouped together. Meadow forced back from the aftershock. He'll eventually get in there, but the wall is starting to break. It's not holding strong. And Leakin picking up one onto Shadows, the cage to bridge the gap and allow them to fall back further. 3 players all going to be flashbanged up, but that's too strong. And the spot, this is now going to work. They know exactly where Neff is. He won't catch anybody off guard on the creep to site.
It's going to come down more onto his teammate.
What?
Oh, that is a free kill that's just been thrown away, moving as he tries to take the shot. They need to get that defuse going, and with the first kill coming up, that makes it a possibility. Nicola, though, has already found that first. It just needs to be someone sticking the plant, and actually, that's exactly what has been done by Capers. Just holds it all the way.
Problem was with him shooting there, it gave away that he was still in the corner. Still an insanely brave play to stick it at that point. I mean, you'd imagine you hear the gunshots, you get spooked and start moving, but no. Capes just sticks it down, farms up 2 more points with the kill afterwards and the defuse, and that's a res almost in play immediately. Combine that with Brimstone's ability to rain down some hellfire, and I'd say Royals are in a pretty good spot. With already 5 rounds on the board, you really don't want to see them making it further forward than this, but that seems almost like an impossibility for Fabrican to make that kind of stop. If they want to finish off with the signature 7-round attack side, they've got to win all 5 from this point forward. Got to be a flawless offense.
Smoke's already falling. You're gonna make things a little bit awkward. Hype once again, utilizing his blast packs, but that could actually completely rack him. In fact, yeah, it's 2 kills coming up. Latex does take one of them just off individual brilliance. He didn't need the help of the ult, but this is already looking like a firm save. None of the remaining B players even going to attempt to rotate in here, but that one dart playing a much bigger part than we'd normally expect, and well, the attackers are right back on the horse. It's obviously important that we keep these weapons up to make sure that the defenders are still going to have a decent purchase going into the next round, but that is a pretty damn good response to what was an unfortunate round for them.
Yeah, it's amazing when you see those kind of things line up, right? We're already thinking the whole time, like, Sova still hasn't used his ult. Been 2 rounds now, waiting to see it have any impact. Oh, hello, Leakin. Playing exits. Got himself 2 DPS on the trade, and that's worthwhile. And taking a lot of weapons out of their hands. But no, I didn't quite expect them to line up like that, though. That was pretty devastating. Both of them running in synchronicity, the spray through the smoke, then even afterwards. So I think it was the first shot was a double tag, if I'm not mistaken, from the Sova. Here's the cam I was talking about earlier on. That lets you see all the way down long. There you go. Nice bird's eye view of it.
Oh, okay. That was a well-timed counter cam. They know that this has been aggressed now. Meadow was someone that we saw within the semi-finals have a standout performance. A phenomenal play, and a lot of that I expect to see on the defensive side. And by the looks of it, they're going to have a decent defense. Only 1 round needed for a minimum of a half draw. Definitely not what you want to be seeing going into the opposing side. The attackers, once again, are playing much more of a default round. Maybe starting to try and predict where the remaining players have actually gone for the defenders. At the moment, you can just see the Breach playing a rotational role, trying to gamble on what direction is going to be cleared. A Breach on the attacking side, actually just going to use a lot of utility to try and clear out this position, even checking for cams to make sure that nothing is given away. In all honesty, though, they haven't found out too much. They just know that the defenders are currently not in hookah. However, they have at least baited that Breach.
Oh, the shot, but a miss. Neff now in trouble, drops down the smoke to buy himself a bit more time. Hype blowing down the wall. The spray is not good until Nicola tries to fall back and cut through the smoke. The last bullet in the magazine dealing the damage. And is this a lineup? Does he know it? I want to see that land.
I don't know if it did, but it looks like they had the dart as well that's landed perfectly onto Hype. So I think he's gone down. It's just whether or not they got the half. They have now. The Flames actually didn't quite spread it off, and it's done most of the way. However, into this 1v1 Meadow, is he going to know that they've already got it halfway through? He's trying to spam through, and I think they might have just got it. It's happened again, Mitch. A second time that the spike has been diffused right in front of their very eyes. We could be seeing them in the lead at the moment, but instead, Well, it's got to be torturous knowing that now twice that has happened.
You know what? I'll give you a positive thing for Fabrican, though. You can still order online from IKEA, so they can get a new desk, because I imagine they've just smashed theirs to bits. Twice now. That's gotta suck.
Well, I think they're from Sweden, so it'll be very easy for them to find an IKEA. I think there should be about 4 million within the country.
Within their neighborhood. Just assembling it is the issue. Do Swedes get like an advantage? It's like a +5 assembly perk.
Oh, at least like +50.
Yeah. Takes me a while.
They're born with screws in their hand. A lot of aggression. Look how much information the defenders have found. Like, we mentioned how this is something the Royals like to do on Split, and it's very successful. This is a travesty. There is a full flank already coming in. The attackers have basically got to get moving, and they've got to do it now. Luckily, Leo has already found 2 entries, in fact, as they try and get back out. Capiz gets a couple of trades back in return, but it's mainly all on to Leo to do the work, and these flankers, they're coming, and I don't know if they can do anything now. Just a little bit too late to the party, but they still get 2 kills back.
No heals possible. Meadow is low on the bomb site, wants to take a swing out. His teammate towards the back of Elbow on his way to spawn side. Meadow has to be worried about his right now. The spam's coming in from Hookah. He goes to check the right, the ult in play. Where is that going to be placed, though? That's the question, and hello and goodbye. Hype. CQB fights with a rocket in hand. Shadow spotted moving around the back. A classic in his hands. He goes through the molly, and that makes it so much easier for Neff to take him down. But is there time? This is going to be very, very close. I don't think there is.
He's got it. He's got it.
Oh,
no
man.
worries. No pressure. Weren't
They
even
bait me.
close. Weren't even close.
1.88 seconds, Tom. I mean,
That's not.
They've
That's
made it.
not that low.
no, it's actually not. I mean, they run that clock so quickly. And the beeps happen so frequently towards the last 10 seconds that I always feel like, oh, no, it's gone. It's gone. And then 5 seconds later, we start defusing and win. I'm like, wait, what?
I think the way that I've just started doing it is just looking at the bar as it's moving, and if you just do it based on yeah, he's got it, like when he's diffusing it. But yeah, very nice retake. 2v4. I didn't think the flank would play much of a part after Leo did a fantastic job with the triple opener, but hey, it really does now look quite worrying. 7 rounds for the defending side. Sure, their purchases are getting worse and worse. They've had maybe 3-4 rounds with either none or 1 player surviving. Think about the clutches we've witnessed so far in this game. But if they're all going in your favor, well, I think you're going to be quite happy with the results. The attackers, once again, going to be aggressed on, but this time they're prepared. And actually, with Latex having a weaker gun in this scenario, that pickup could be a big deal. And I'm not sure I like this from Neff. This is such a big risk. He does have some support, but it leaves the A side very open.
The flash doesn't connect, and Neff is still ready to watch this. They were conscious of it, but couldn't do a damn thing. The bomb still goes down, though. The spike planted, and the retake with a man disadvantage to come in. Nicholas soon to heal himself up as well.
Well, a res coming in. They've left it late before and managed to make these retakes work. I'm liking the fact that there's 2 players deep into mid, but DPS, well, they look for sure like he get 2. The fact is Shadow's actually come out with 2. In fact, it's him and Latex to combine. That round was looking bleak, but thankfully, they had the right players in at the right time, and, well, they've gained their 4th at least.
Well, that's interesting. You see, Shadow tucked in the corner being spotted. We saw 3 different players try to take him down, and the whole time, player over in Lamps taking free kills. They're just walking in, backs turned. The pre-fire came in from Hype, not connecting at all. And although they eventually deal with them, well, it was already too far gone. Still, at this point, 7-4. Royals are already in a great spot. Their defense has been solid. And if they find this final round and put it up to 8, that's even more of a bonus. There's no pressure on their shoulders for now. As for Breakin, they need it. And you see how slowly they're approaching this, watching every single part of the map for a push. They're outside showers, mid, hookah, and long. But as nobody reveals their hand and 1 minute and 5 seconds is close to being on that clock, they decide to group up and move in towards middle. 4 players on their way, but there's still so many ults in play for this defensive side.
They've got the combo as well. We've seen how deadly this can be. The breach ult to stun them. And then potentially going to throw in the brimstone just a few seconds later to try and catch out those remainder. Unfortunately, it's completely missed. It's caught no one. Maybe expecting them to be a little bit further forward than they were. It's all after all. And it's actually Leo's that is successful. They're going to clear out the lamps as well. As Meadow will get them into an after plant position. This is looking like a 5th round. It would have to be something very impressive from the remainder, especially with the majority having pistols here. Leakin, I'm not sure what he could do. What is that? The first 2 shots were unreal. Luckily, Latex is still there to keep him at bay. Cape is now 1v3. No ultimate to bring someone back from the death. And he's not going to do anything versus Nicola either. Those first 2 shots off the back of the Sheriff actually had me scared.
Well, I mean, he was 1 away from picking up a rifle and being able to push into a pretty even retake. I don't blame you for being scared, but at the end of the day, they don't manage to do it. And so 7-5 is how we finish things. 7 in favor of Royals, of course, who are now on the attacking side. Coming into the pistol round, I see a lot of players going for the light armor these days. A double ghost setup. For the likes of Capiz, it definitely makes sense to take light armor. You're going to probably want to have a wall. On the attack, not so much, but definitely for Nicola on the defense. The wall is essential. The slows no longer able to be bought up alongside it. So you've got a choice, really. A ghost and 2 slows, or you can take a wall and armor. I think most sages will go for armor, or for the wall and armor, yeah. Especially in the pistol round, because, of course, it takes a long time to break them. You're going to waste a lot of your ammo, and they're probably going to be knifing them away. That opens up the opportunity to catch them off while they do it.
Oh, good start from Leak, and it's a bit of a dicey fight, and actually it gives the time for the wraparound. The attackers have already got such a lead in this one, and Leo, oh, these are going to have to be some damn good shock darts if he's going to do anything in this round. Already tagged low. I wonder if he's fearing that final blast pack. Not going to happen. It's actually just kept anyway, and well, we will see how an 8th round, of course, not forgetting that this is flipped. On the scoreboard, it's correct. Up above, it is wrong. And that will be for the remainder of this map.
Tom, I mean, looking at the veto and how things are panning out at the moment, with Split coming up next, you do have to be very worried if Fabrican don't take this, right? Like, that is when I will probably count Royals as the victors before it even starts. Split's just such a damn good map for them. Hype news, though, as I think it was Hype who took a Guardian this round. One of the first times we're seeing that really come out. And there you go. It's got a kill.
There we go. It's finally coming into play. Maybe just not quite having enough for the gun that he was hoping for, and still wanting a rifle in. They're actually going to deny the plant, at least for now. Capers will go down. Hype's still watching for any sort of rotations. He's got to be careful, because there is still a second man that they need to worry about, but luckily Latex is coming in from long. They seem to know exactly where he is at this point. In fact, just using as much utility as they can to just keep him held back while they retrieve the spike. Smart stuff from them. Even still, there's 2 players very, very low on the attacking side. Even a bullet from the Classic could be enough. Potentially take them out of this round. And well, this round is basically all about damage for the defenders. They're trying to reduce how much money, how much weaponry is taken into the next round. Latex hoping he can find one of those low players. And well, the man that peaks was relatively low. But but it doesn't seem to matter when it's Hype.
Hype's just too much of a god to be struggling with those kind of things. The guardian of his team, bringing them all the way up to 9. Again, disregard the score up the top of your screens. It's what's in the middle that matters on that scoreboard. 9-5. Winning those first 2 rounds, though, here's where they face the biggest task of their defense so far. Of their attack. Excusez-moi. Up against the full buy on the defensive side. Fabriken are going to be the ones rocking in with their 4 Phantoms and a Vandal. We've seen this time and time again. Meadows the only one that believes the Vandal nerf is worth talking about.
And we got 2 Ghosts on the attacking side as well, so you can pretty much call this one done if Royals manage to take this round. It would be a big surprise. At the same time, there is one man so far ahead at the top of the board. I think he's 18 kills. The next is 11, and that is Hype. So with him still having a rifle in hand, one that we haven't seen too much, he might be about to throw out some real style points. We are going to have the execution beginning. Those smokes falling, likely the ice wall coming up in response, just allowing them the opportunity, and the shock darts trying to deny any sort of plant. But as of right now, it's yet to actually come in. This will allow them at least to get that spike down. However, as already mentioned, this is where the weaponry is quite a bit weaker now for the attacking side.
Yeah, here in the head-to-head duels is where they struggle, and Leak and DPS falling in synchronicity. Oh, no, for a second I thought he was in danger. What? He's blind. He's taking a double kill without seeing a damn thing. What is that? The ult in play as well, straight to Leo. Insult to injury. What in the world was that, though, Tom? He couldn't see a thing.
Well, this was the battle that I spoke about at the very beginning of the game. I said that we watched the love of this Royals team for taking Lamps control, and we saw the love of retaking it from the side of Fabriken. And the terrifying thing is, they did everything right. They moved him out of the corner, obviously using the aftershock to do that. Then they used the flash to leave him completely blind. And he still headshots both people as they walk around the corner. And what's worse is then we actually see Neff come in with a ghost and headshot the last player. So you have to feel kind of bad for them. Of course, that is the risk of running through such a close choke point. It always thought that it was going to happen eventually, that someone would just get wrecked in that regard. The issue is the timing of it. That was the bonus round. That was where they still had 2 players on pistols. They managed to take that victory. They get themselves to double digits. And now we're looking at the defenders playing with just pistols while coming up against the last couple of rounds. It's going to be such a tough comeback now for the side of Fabriken.
Even tougher when you lose out those opening duels 2 for 1. The defense now thinned out and rotating to A as the spike is... it's about to find its way onto the B-bomb site. Completely for free. And the pistols sure to look to retake that. Do as much damage as they can. I mean, saving over in this kind of position isn't really what you want to do. It's rough. For Fabriken, they know this is their best chance. I mean, it's their map pick at the end of the day. But everybody knows about Royals on Split after what they did to Party Pirates. That's not where you want to be starting a comeback, really, is it?
Yeah, it would definitely be interesting, though, because what I will say is, like, the Fabriken game that they played earlier versus Party Pirates and won 13-6, they were really good on the attacking side, which is not something we've actually witnessed so much so far. Now, granted, we did also see that from Royals as well, but I do think that they are clearly comfortable playing that map. So I don't know. I don't think it's over until the fat lady sings. And yeah, sure, losing your map choice might be a problem. It is also possible that they just picked this map not wanting to play Haven, knowing that Split would also be chosen by their opponent. So, and obviously mind games are a lot easier when there's only 3 maps in the pool and you know which one is your opponent's favorite based off every time they've played it. So you never know. Maybe Fabriken threw in a few mind games and they're still more than ready to play the second map. The fact is, though, I think getting bodied as they have done now with a 4-0 start for the attackers. Sure, they took some losses in the last round, but with plenty of cash to buy back up and maybe even the last-ditch effort now for the side of Fabraken to try and bring this one back.
A 3-man early stack towards the B side is going to be a dangerous gamble to take. Fabrican already down by quite a bit. The molly, even blind, is going to land on its mark, but Hype gets the nade over. They're running through the molly. The heals from Capiz are enough to regenerate that health back up, and that's one hell of a start. I thought they were going to be locked out for a little bit, allow the rotates to come in, but instead, they're being destroyed. Capiz can't get his heals up. Oh, they've seen him throw that out in the left. There goes the shot, and Capiz down. He had a res, so that's really important to drop him early.
Even still, though, it doesn't matter. Neff just going ham has already made things very awkward. He actually peeks back in, though. He hands a kill away, and Leo has kept them in this match. A 4K, the ultimate being able to clear out some of the remaining members, and what was a complete change-up to the normal setup we've had on this A site, with the bomb going down to A short. It didn't work, but I almost feel like it should have.
Yeah, that was a very strange position. You could definitely see the overconfidence perhaps coming into play for Royals. I've been seeing them just run in one after another to take that duel over towards heaven. Communication could have been a little bit better. The ultimate was fantastic, though. When you saw the Sage of Capiz get taken down, that was where their chances went down the drain a little bit. And even then, Neff on a double kill, just not enough to pull it across the line. That is now 11-6. 6 on the board for Fabriken, and they're going to look to do a little bit more. The Boombot clears out the left side. They know that no one's there, and so happy to take Hookah, but not yet committing. And that is actually Latex taken down towards the A side.
Definitely not the start they were hoping for, especially with the risks that they've actually taken in this round. They've sent 3 players into B early for the defense, and with the small amount of presence that's been shown in that direction, they can't afford to rotate anyone. And while a 1-2 punch, they've walked into the site, they've killed off both defenders. They can just walk in and plant the spike. But they decided, you know what, Mitch, I kind of fancy killing off one more player before we actually go and plant. And have just made things that little bit worse. This round is done, surely.
This is the kind of dominance that we're just talking about from Royals. It keeps coming through. DPS looking to hunt them down. Almost gets it done. Nicola landing the shots, though. You can see the reason that we talked previously before the Vandal was updated there. When Nicola hits the shot with the Phantom, the gun kick from the headshot is so much that before the update, when it was so hard to control the spray of a Vandal or indeed to even burst fire it, it just made so much more sense to take that Phantom. Because you could headshot, they're not going to be able to return fire, and as long as you do the very easy spray to connect the second or third bullet, it will be a kill.
Well, still just having a little look around to see if they can clear out any of these remaining members of the defense, but they are going to be allowed to hold on. Now, Shadow's very close to his ultimate, so even if he can just gain an orb, I believe that it's actually the same or very, very similar for the Sage they have as well. So there's definitely still some potential for the defense to maybe throw in an extra round just based off some ultimates. Of course, to win 6 in a row, though, Mitch, that's a very, very different story. Most of the time, your ults can only give you that one cheese round, and then you've got to actually work it with the weaponry and your remaining utility for the rest of the game.
Well, Tom, I mean, never mind 6 even. They need 7, right? Because at this point, they've got to win afterwards. Coming into that...
Oh, okay.
This is a good start. Nicola Meadow, double openings towards long, and they have the patience and the respect to just pull back.
And they didn't even really use anything there either. That was just a very aggressive push down towards B, something we haven't seen from them so far. It was something I said in the last match, where it seems like when they were in awkward positions, they would go for more aggressive pushes, and that was actually very successful for them. Bleaken, well, he was handed a chance. Unfortunately, he's not actually going to take it, and out of absolutely nowhere, they go for something a little bit more audacious, a bit of a surprise play after very passive holds for the majority of the game, and they don't drop a single player.
Tom, do you believe? Do you see it happening? The big comeback?
No.
Oh. Come on, Tom. Do it for the people.
There's 4 ults over on the attacking
Yeah.
side.
Almost
I just like it's going to be so difficult to hold off against that,
Oh
especially
my-
if Breach is planned.
Tom, I've just noticed something.
What's that?
I'm actually so dumb. This is the 4th week I've cast Valorant, Tom. The 4th week. And I think now I realize up on the player bar on the top, when someone has their ult up, they turn yellow.
Oh,
I'm
isn't
so
that pretty?
stupid. I've never noticed. I wondered what it was for.
Oh
Can't
dear. Well, Hype's managed to find an early trade with DPS coming up with another, as they are going to continue their push in towards this B site. There's no one left to defend it, only the spam through to try and find something here. They do have the res, but it's gone. Nicola falls, another comes up to bring Hype back into the action, but Latex actually manages to kill off Neff. This is still doable. They might be able to survive in this match. It is going to be the push coming through. Leo has been fantastic so far. Even an extra kill would actually give him enough to try and use his ultimate, but it doesn't matter. The peeks out from Capers and Hype will throw out the match, and you asked me just moments ago if I believed in that comeback, and I'm very glad that I said no.
Yeah, indeed. It's a sad affair.